So we're going to go in order of the games. The first game is Houston at home against the Chargers. And this one was the hardest one for me to pick. And it really, really matters where you bet this right now. So right now, FanDuel has the Chargers laying 2.5. DraftKings has the Chargers laying 3. Anyone listening to the show is a sophisticated enough gambler to understand huge difference between those two numbers. For this game in particular, I find this game to be super relevant. If you can get the 3, I like the Chargers. I like Houston +3. If you're gonna get the 2.5, I don't mind the Chargers. And so my rationale here is very simple. I don't think Houston's very good right now. I understand that. I also think they are probably a little undervalued in this regard. They've been locked in to their playoff spot for a few weeks and didn't really have real motivation after the Chiefs loss and the Tank Dell injury. I felt like they're playing the Ravens 4 days later on Christmas, knowing we're going to be the 4 seed no matter what, and they put up a total no-show, and because of that, people have undersold them a bit. Again, I think they're a flawed team and a banged-up team. However, they have an excellent pass rush. CJ can play better than he's played. Nico Collins is still a great player, and they're at home against a Charger team, DeMonze, that I just think, I know how Harbaugh coaches in these playoff games. He's going to put Herbert back on the leash. He's going to run the ball, want it to be few possessions, low scoring, defensive battle. So if I can get 3 points, all 3, I'll take them. If I felt like I would take the Chargers -2.5, but Houston +3, it means I don't have crazy conviction on this. But it feels like the public is going to be all over the Chargers. So I'll take Houston +3 with some trepidation. And I'll tell you right now, because the pick, and I haven't done this all year, but I really want to have a shot to go undefeated on this on TV. Not that I value the TV more or less than this, but here's the reason I'm mentioning it. On TV, we are tied to the DraftKings line because DraftKings sponsors the TV picks. Hopefully next year for the gambling show, we're tied to a gambling sponsors line because, as I've mentioned the last couple shows, we are open for business. We have a little open for business sign in our podcast window, and we hope to actually come to a decision on that here in the next few weeks for, your favorite sports book to endorse this podcast. However, on TV, it is DraftKings. So if that line moves on DraftKings and it's 2.5 by tomorrow when I'm doing the picks, I might go Chargers. I'm just, and so full disclosure, that's where I'm at, but Houston +3. DeMonze, you go.
So I originally made these picks on FanDuel, so I got the Chargers -2.5. I wasn't taking
this one. Will surprise no one. I'll take Pittsburgh. I think this is like how most Pitt-Baltimore games are, which are low scoring and close. The one a few weeks ago obviously wasn't that, but that game got thrown askew by 2 horrifying Russell Wilson mistakes. When it was 7-7, they're driving to score, Russ fumbles at the 2, and then they're down 7 after Lamar's only mistake of the game, a game Lamar played great in after the Lamar pick late third quarter, and Russ immediately throws a pick 6, and now they're down 14 and the game's over. The first matchup, Pittsburgh won, but they didn't score a touchdown, and that was is Justin Tucker cooked game. So that was, I just think 9.5 points is insulting and too much. Now, maybe Derrick Henry runs wild, and Pittsburgh's offense, they've lost 4 consecutive games headed into the postseason, which is damn near unprecedented, but I'll still take Pittsburgh plus the 9.5. So
Vegas is just saying that Lamar's getting over the woes this year. That's what I'm seeing. Because that 9.5 point spread, but yeah.
So Josh Allen in the wild card round is an absolute monster for his career, and it usually is against a totally overmatched quarterback, and he cooks. So Josh Allen, the last 4 years in the wild card round, has faced Colts Phillip Rivers, who was cooked, Mac Jones, Skylar Thompson, and Mason Rudolph.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Now, to be fair, those haven't all been blowouts, but as far as Josh's production against those teams, 13 touchdowns, 2 picks, a 111 rating. And as far as the Bills' offensive production, again, the last 4 years in the wild card round, 27 points against the Colts, 47 against the Patriots, 34 against Miami, 31 against Pittsburgh. Now, again, to be fair, the Colts and Dolphins games, they ended up winning by 3. So they weren't blowouts. And I understand Sean Payton and Bo Nix have had an unbelievable season. But ultimately, this is a rookie quarterback on the road in the playoffs in Buffalo. I do not think this game is going to be close. I do not think Denver is going to have the answers. And I do not think Bo Nix is going to look how he looked the last few weeks. So I like Buffalo laying the 8.5. I would love for the Broncos to beat the Bills. If there is, it's not a big one, but there is a world that exists where Patrick Mahomes' path to the Super Bowl goes through Bo Nix and Russell Wilson. And that's a world I would love to live in, but I don't think that's the world we're going to live in. I think Mahomes' path to the Super Bowl is going to go through either Stroud or Herbert, and then Josh Allen. And if it's not Josh Allen, it'll be Lamar. But Buffalo, I think, blows out the Broncos. I think this is a over in the third quarter type of game, like 31-13. So I'll take Buffalo laying the 8.5. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to take Denver plus 8.5. Yeah.
Wow.
And after everything you just said, I think Bo Nix, he's like baby Josh Allen, but I think 8.5 points, that's a lot. I think they'll be able to hang. But yeah, now rookie quarterback. I like Sean Payton. I trust him, and Bo Nix isn't your average rookie. He's a little bit older, a little bit more seasoned.
That part's definitely true.
He also has that. I don't want to be corny or anything, but he's got some dog in him, and I like it. And I think that that will translate.
That part's
to the
all
playoffs.
true. And the Sean Payton angle, they do have a coaching edge. I just don't. I think that we're gonna see a bad Bo Nix game. Rookie quarterback road, freezing cold weather, Buffalo, all of it. I do like a little bit for him that it's not at night. I think that actually makes it slightly less intimidating atmosphere, but I still think
he's
it's tough.
in Denver.
So,
he's
used to the cold.
Right.
And he played college football for a year at Oregon. I understand. I'm not thinking he can't play in the cold. I'm just thinking it's just the atmosphere. It's probably too much. All right, next one. Maybe the game of the weekend. Game that's on Fox. Philly laying 4.5 at home against Green Bay. When I went through and guessed the lines before they came, or right when they came out, before I'd seen them, I thought this was going to be Philly -7.
Jeez.
And when I saw it was 4.5, I was like, oh, they're baking in that Jalen, like, what I thought that was saying was they're worried about Jalen. And they're splitting the difference on, well, if he plays, it'll be 7.5. If he doesn't, it'll be basically a pick 'em. We're going to set the line in the middle. That's not what's happened. Jalen Hurts is pretty clearly playing. It has stuck at 4.5. I love Philly here. I know Jalen hasn't played in a month. I get that. But this is, again, prior to the Packers upsetting the Cowboys in this exact scenario, a 2 versus 7, the 2 versus 7 playoff games have been absolute laughers. So I want to go through it real quick. So one of the reasons that I felt this way about the Bills Broncos is because it's a 2-7 game. The first year we had a 2-7 playoff field was 2020. One of those games was that Bills-Colts game that I just talked about. The Bills did only win by 3. The other one, New Orleans-Chicago. I don't even remember that game at all. New Orleans won 21-9. The next year, the 2-7 games. Philly-Tampa. Tampa won 31-15. Kansas City-Pittsburgh. Kansas City won 42-21. The next year, the 2-7 playoff games were Buffalo-Miami. Again, Buffalo's been involved in some of these close ones. They beat Skylar Thompson-Miami 34-31. And San Francisco-Seattle. San Francisco won 41-23. Last year, obviously, the Packers had the first ever 2-7 upset, but the 2-7 game in the AFC was Buffalo-Pittsburgh 31-17. A lot of blowouts in these spots. Only one upset. I think Saquon rested and fresh.
By this team.
The one upset was Green Bay in this exact spot last year. No, that's totally fair. I like Philly. I think Philly's going to look awesome. This, to me, feels like a 31-20 Philly victory, so I'll lay the 4.5.
All right. I'm sticking with my guy, Jordan Love. I'm taking Green Bay plus the 4.5. I think that Philadelphia, I don't think Green Bay is the type of team to melt down. And I've seen Philly melt down. And I think if something's not working, then Green Bay can capitalize on that. I like Jordan Love. I'm going with Packers.
We're opposed on a lot of these. I like
that. I feel like Philly minus 2.5. Maybe like 3. Wow, I like Green Bay on the points. But yeah, no, I'm glad we got some conflicting ones.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Tampa minus 3 at home against Washington. It's just a rookie quarterback on the road. And so, I don't even have to lay a big number. I think Tampa is, as Wild would say, first team, all vibes with the Mike Evans stuff. Baker didn't play great in the first half against the Saints, was awesome late. Tampa has immense postseason experience. 5th straight year they're in the playoffs. 4th straight year they've won the division. I like how Baker's playing. I like how they responded after trailing the Saints throughout a lot of that game, even though trailing the Saints in general is not great. And Jaden Daniels, it's been a great year for Jaden, but I think it comes to an end here, and I love that I don't have to lay the hook. So laying just 3, Tampa minus 3, I'm rolling with.
And if Jaden went out there and won that game, it's
massive.
Yeah.
And if he goes out there and wins that game, they unless the Eagles upset the Packers upset the Eagles, then he gets to go play Detroit in round 2. That'd be unbelievable. But I like Tampa minus 3. I think you do as well.
Yeah, exactly. Same exact reasons. Just the Baker makes sense here.
All right, and then the last one, we don't even have to spend much time on it because everyone knows where I'm going to go. The Rams getting 1.5 against Minnesota. I get Matt Stafford and Sean McVay at home. They're undefeated at home or on a neutral site. And by the way, that neutral site wasn't a neutral site in the playoffs. That Super Bowl was in Los Angeles. So they've played, I know it was called a neutral site, but they're 3-0 in SoFi in the postseason. The Vikings, I think Darnold goes into this game pretty anxious. And the Rams defense has been unbelievable. And Kevin O'Connell, as much as everyone likes him, he's coached one playoff game ever. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.